All right. In 3, 2, 1. Amanda, hi.
Hi.
How are you, friend?
Dude, I'm good. It's been a minute.
It has. It has. The last time we spoke, we were on a podcast together. Your podcast, Next Level Talk Show, excuse me. What's the difference between a podcast and a talk show?
So my understanding of a talk show is that there's the live aspect and then there's the visual side of things, whereas a podcast, as my understanding, is recorded and no visual.
Okay.
Sometimes. So I think it's like a live versus a pre-recorded.
Okay, well, I need to rebrand then. I think I need to be known as the Awkwardly Close Talk Show. I don't like
I think,
that.
dude, I think you would be so rad live. I think you would be so rad.
Well, so we used to do it. We used to do this podcast live, or this talk. God, we used to do this all live. But I felt like there was a lot of pressure because I try and be as interactive as I possibly can with my chat and who all's in there, and I felt like there was a lot of pressure on both ends. So on my end, and then whoever was on the show would constantly be like looking over at chat and reading, because like I have such a hard time, like when I'm gaming, if I'm doing anything, like this monitor has to be shut off or else I do not focus on whatever's happening. So anyways, yeah, I just felt like there was a lot of pressure in the beginning, and I just wanted to start doing it offline.
I get that. We have mods. So I've been yelled at many times to stop reading chat because I'll literally be like, just like reading chat on this other monitor.
Yeah.
But for me, it's given a really good pressure. I like the pressure. Otherwise, if I know I can edit it, I'm going to be so distracted, and that hour and a half time slot's going to be 3 hours, and it's like
well,
crazy.
You guys have a really cool thing that you have going on. So I know from the behind the scenes of things, for those that don't know, you know, when I was on the talk show, there was like 2 other people in that call that were just there to solely monitor time, topic, that kind of thing. And like for instance, in my case, I was on a super strict time slot, and I forgot her name. I'm so sorry.
Chavi.
Yeah, that's right.
The voice in my head.
Yeah. She would occasionally pop in and be like, "Hey, 5 minutes till stop," like that kind of thing. Whereas I don't have that, and I don't have that voice in my head to tell me, "Hey, man, quit doing that." So for me, I was just constantly looking at it. But and then another thing too was I felt like with podcasts or talk shows, however you want to go about it, people are gonna watch them like once, maybe twice, you know. So being able to do this offline and just upload it directly seems smarter to me. So I like that side of things, that's for sure.
That's cool. I mean, yeah, I guess you basically just called me dumb, but that's cool. Like, whatever. That's fine. That's fine.
Anyways, let's get into some intros here. Jesus. Amanda, you are the VP and co-owner, correct, of AMG. Yeah. All right. That is correct. And now explain to me what AMG is. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, so Aftershock Media Group is a talent management and advertising agency. We started almost a year and a half ago now, so it's been a while. Me and my 2 partners started this kind of like beginning-ish of last year, really just looking to fill a need and being a creator-first talent management agency.
Okay.
Obviously, you think of agencies and you're like, oh, they should be creator-first.
Right.
And joke's on you, they're really not. And I've seen it way too much.
Right. Yeah. So I've heard about people really getting screwed over in a lot of different agencies. Now, so when you guys say that you guys are creator first, what does that truly mean?
So it just means that every action we have, every process we have has the creator's best interest in mind, whether it's contracts, whether it's our payment process. Like we now have an amazing accountant and finance lady, but before I'm like, dude, we are taking too long. Like this doesn't work for me.
Right.
That's what I mean. Is like, obviously we can't pay creators before we get paid, but I expect a timely turnaround. Like we owe it to them.
Right.
If a client wants, several additional edits that weren't part of the contract, I'm over here advocating, regardless if the client's paying $1,000 or $100,000. Like I am there advocating for my talent,
right? Because
that's my job.
Right.
That's kind of like what I mean being creator focused.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, you're the people that go to bat for the content creators or whoever's under your belt. Now as far as like overall aspect of the job, are you guys going out looking for like partnerships and sponsorships that you think would meet your content creators' needs, or kind of work well with their personality, or kind of what's going on the back end of things?
Yeah, so we have a pretty beefy roster. We have about 45 people right now.
Right.
So it's quite a lot of people. We specialize and focus mostly on mobile. However, we do have some PC content creators and some beauty body painting as well. So we do cover.
Nice.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
So we have some pretty cool chicks that are with us, which I'm really proud of.
Yeah, that's tight.
Yeah, it's awesome. And so we do a little bit of both, where our team is growing. So our bottlenecks really come from just like bandwidth. I can only do so much in a day. My team members can only do so much. But the idea is that we are identifying opportunities for each and every one. Okay. Some opportunities will be kind of blanket across all of them, or let's say a majority of them, right, while others will be very specialized or personalized. Like if I'm talking to Corsair, I'm not talking to Corsair for everyone. Yeah. It's usually, 5 people or less. Yeah. That's just how my roster is.
I feel that. That's awesome. Yeah. And as far as your management goes, one question that I think a lot of people have, especially when it comes to this industry that we're in, there recently has been such an influx of people that I feel are streamers and content creators that I feel like have been kind of taken off the path a little bit and don't know where to go, and so they seek out management. They seek out somebody that can point them in the right direction, keep them on a specific path. When you guys are looking, your company in particular, when you guys are looking at content creators and streamers of any kind, what is kind of your threshold of requirements? Like what do you guys look for?
Definitely. So to answer that broadly, in the beginning, it used to be a little less specific. We were growing the agency and we wanted to help the creators that we knew. Now that we're a year plus in, we need to be a little more particular. And plus, we've just learned as a team and as an agency what we can offer. So when we tell a content creator, we can't help you right now, it's not because we don't want to, but we don't believe that we have the clientele, the contacts, or the deal flow in order to get you what you deserve. Therefore, I don't want to tie you up, put you in a contract so you can't work with anyone else if I don't think I can support you. And that's something I try to explain, that it's not that you're not good enough. It's just that where my deals are at right now, I can't help support you. That's my biggest thing. So right now, I'd say we're looking at the 500 to 2,000 average concurrent streamer. And about 100 to 150 average view per video for YouTube. That's the general range. We also have a lot of those smaller mid-sized creators already, which is why we have our sight set on larger creators to be able to help fill that gap in our roster.
Right, of course, which is fair. As you grow as a company, your clientele has to become more refined. So I can definitely understand that, because again, there are a lot of people out there that have actually been like super upset. I've talked with people that were smaller than me, and been like, hey, where should I go? What should I do? Like, this company said no to me. This company said no to me. And I'm like, listen, man, like, dude, it's going to happen. If there's anybody in this industry that's been told no more than me, dude, let me tell you, it's gonna continue to happen for a hot minute. So what were you doing before all of AMG? Like where was your life at that point in time?
Yeah, so before AMG, just a few months prior, I was at another agency here in Los Angeles, who shall remain nameless, although you can look on my LinkedIn and do some math. But I was there for several months, got to learn a lot of cool shit, and ultimately met my 2 business partners there. We didn't leave there to start the agency. I left that previous company, and the opportunity then presented itself. But before all of that, I was in B2B software sales. So I've 2 bachelor's degrees and MBA. I wanted to be like super corporate, tattoos and all, but like I was like, oh, I want to be suit and corporate and stick up my butt and all that fun stuff. And it was just not for me at all. Like I had to GTFO from that for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
And so how did the whole AMG become what it is now. So obviously you said you met your two partners there at that nameless company, and then everybody split off. What happens from there?
So from there, I was looking to just kind of support my two partners. At first, I was like, "Hey, I'll just be your personal manager. Like,
Okay.
you left that other agency also. Like, I'll just do that." And I remember we were all sitting at dinner one day. It was at E3, and we were just like, "Dude, we should start an agency. Like, why don't we just do it?"
Really?
That was literally what happened. And we're like, "Should we do it?" Like, hell yeah, man, let's just do it. And because of how connected my two partners are, they've been content creators for years, very successful YouTube content creators. They were able to plug a lot of context. So our roster grew pretty quickly, but it literally was just the three of us and the two of them as my only roster. And yeah, and we took some deviations. We were partnered with Space Station for a little bit. That is no more. So we've had some bumps along the way, but I think now we're at 15 employees. We are like going straight and narrow down the path. It's amazing. And our team is just growing. We have international employees. We have employees now in Brazil to help with our LATAM presence, and we're working on a couple things over in Asia. So
what? That's so rad. Yeah. That's so that's really cool to hear, especially because you say you guys have been doing this for like a year and a half now. In reality, a year and a half is not a long time. Not a long time. So there's definitely been a lot of growth, and I know that starting up anything, whether it be a business or a new channel, whatever it may be, I know that there's going to be a lot of adversity on the way up, especially starting with just you three.
Absolutely.
What was a couple of hardships, getting things rolling?
So I run so I run all of our talent and all of our sales ultimately. So I've had to be the face. I go to all the conventions, not now during COVID, but
of course not.
I go to all the conventions. I'm kind of at the forefront of these conversations and pitches and selling, etc. And a lot of stuff was kind of like, who are you and why should I care at all?
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to my mind, because I know that side of things.
Yeah, that was a big roadblock, and I hate to be like, oh, it's because I'm a woman and inequality, but like you can just tell some people that are like, dude, are you someone's assistant? Like, who are you? And I'm like, nah, motherfucker, like I own this shit. Like, take me seriously. And it's been like a year plus of having to like command and demand respect. Like,
really,
I've talked about it on my own show, but there are certain instances where people will try and go around me, or they just don't understand who I am. And I'm like, you don't want to do that. Like, let's be honest. Like, let's be open. Like, I've built a reputation that I have because I'm a straight shooter and I don't do people wrong. That's just not how I do business. And it's just been kind of a bit of a fight for the respect and all of that. So I just say that's like the hardest thing, is establishing who you are, especially when you're new, because there are so many agencies out there. They're like, oh, cool, another one. Yeah, like
you're so right.
Yeah.
You are.
They're
so
like,
right.
Okay, Amanda, like, sure.
Yeah, I definitely, again, even in just this entire industry in general is pretty heavily oversaturated with so many different, whether it be agencies or orgs, all these different types of avenues of like management and teams, whatever it may be. It is super oversaturated, which is such a hard thing to get through, especially I can imagine, with people like you. Now, I'm not saying anybody else is like this, but when you're really trying to take it serious and you're really trying to make shit happen and everybody just kind of brushes you off, that's shitty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can I tell a story?
No, on this podcast, I don't want any stories.
This is my favorite story.
Lay it on me. Of course I want to hear your stories.
I will not call out names, but this is a prime example that I give to all of my content creators, and any advice.
I think you should call out names. I'm just kidding. Don't. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Never ignore someone's email or blow someone off because you think they're too small or too insignificant. That is the moral of the story.
Right.
So the story time. I was at Guardian Con last year.
Where was that at?
Florida,
Okay.
Orlando, something like that. It's the Destiny thing. So I was there last year, and I'm there mostly for fun, but I also went for work. They have a small show floor, but still, always got to hustle during the day.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
I'm walking the floor, and I'm just getting business cards, just trying to understand who's there, what the opportunity is. I have a small mobile roster, 5-10 people maybe at this point. I don't have any big names. I don't have big streamers. They're all YouTubers, but I'm still just like, let me know people, because maybe I'll call upon you in a year. Maybe I can help you in another way.
Right. Okay.
Whatever. So I go to this booth, who shall remain nameless, and I speak to this person who shall remain nameless, and we chit chat a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm like, let's get on a call. I think it'd be great to just understand what you look for. That's my main thing. If I don't know what you're looking for, I don't know what to pitch, who to pitch, or if I should even pitch at all.
Right.
So I just like to learn what the client is looking for. So it took a few weeks to get on a call. That's okay. Finally got on a call and had a conversation, was asked to, send over the roster, asked for some details. More than happy to. I got that right away. Then it was like a week later, I followed up, no response. Week later, I followed up, no response. Another week later, I followed up, no response.
Dude,
and I was like, okay. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? It's fine. Oh, no, it gets better. Just wait. And I'm like, it's okay, man. Like, no worries. Like, this isn't a big company, but like, it's all good, man. It's all good. I have 500,000 other things to do. At this point, we had no other employees. So I'm still busy running the company with them. Like, yeah. So I get on a phone call a couple months ago, and it happens to be with a current content creator of mine and this gentleman, who shall remain nameless, who blew me off last year at Guardian Con. And I was like, man, I'm not going to tell my content creator. I'm not going to say anything, because I'm professional and I am no.
Hey, way to be, by the way, because that does not fly with me.
It's hard. It's a lot of hard work. But I was like, nah, man, I'm not going to say anything. It's all good. Okay. So we get on the call, and he's like, I know you. You're from somewhere. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm at all the conventions. We probably met at a convention. He's like, no, man. Your name is familiar. What's your Twitter? And I was like, oh, shit. Okay. Like, cool. We're going in.
Yeah.
We're going in. So I give him my Twitter. And he's like, dude, it's not. Dude, what's your email? I swear we've spoken before.
Oh,
and I was like,
One of us spoke.
Oh. So I gave him my email, and meanwhile, my content creator's messaging me on the side, like, dude, what's happening? And I kind of filled her in on the story, and she's like, oh my God. And you could tell when he realized who the fuck I was. And it was beautiful, because it had been so long. I was no longer upset, bothered, annoyed. But it was, to me, this was such a great example as why you should never treat anyone that way, because I was no one then. But now I'm someone. Yeah. Like, that's.
And first of all, that's a big win, by the way. That's a big win. Like,
thank you.
That's that side win, and you're so right, and I'm not in the management world, but I can only speak from things that have happened in my past. But early on, starting off streaming, I got like the invite to a lot of different orgs, right? And I quote the orgs because they weren't the top of the top at that time. And granted, some of them may still not be, whatever. But I've always tried to admire and respect people's work ethic, because I know that over time, if you keep working, something will happen. With a little bit of luck, a little bit of hard work, I think something will happen. And so, again, early on, I kind of got a little fucked over here and there with some whatever orgs. And so anyways, I left. And here, as of recently, teams have come to me and be like, hey, we're looking for a content creator, whatever it may be. And granted, a lot of these are not major, like D1 orgs. These are people who have, been at it for like a year or less and are still working to grow. And my thing is I always, without question, say, yeah, man, I'm looking for a team. I've always been on a team. I've got such a background in sports. I absolutely love the team aspect of things, even if I'm just a content creator and not a part of any competitive scene whatsoever, which I don't deserve to be. I'm not good at anything. But yeah, so I always hit them up, always hit them back and go, listen, I'm definitely interested, but here is what I'm looking for. Here is what I'm looking for in an organization. And if that's something that you can offer, I would definitely love to chat. and it'll either go one way or the other. Yeah, let's chat, or no, that's not what we can do, whatever it may be. But I always try my hardest to definitely give them the time of day, because you just never know. You just never know, because those people that you're nice to and go, hey, lay it out, like, here's what we're looking for, here's what I can provide, this is what I want, what can you do? And if they can't do it, maybe in the future those people become that D1, become that well-known, that name brand, and then come back to you and go, hey, we didn't have it before, but we have it now, let's get it popping.
Yeah, I absolutely think that how you treat people is seen much more highly than any like financial or monetary. Like, I have more respect from people I've never done a deal with but have just treated respectfully than people I've made $50,000 for. Like, it's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with that. It's weird because it's super underrated these days. Can you stop touching your hair, for the love of God?
I wish someone had a hair
Can you stop? We had this conversation before. For the love of God. God, you're distracting me, okay? Jesus. God, I'm gonna murder you. But yeah, anyways, God. You're about to do okay.
No, it was my face. It was my face. God damn it.
Whatever.
Fuck, man.
But yeah, now I lost my train of thought. Oh,
I'm sorry.
There is one thing that I really wanted to ask you that I feel like are a lot of, and this is what originally started this whole conversation of getting you on the podcast. Because I had so many questions leaving the talk show that your talk show, because of time and all that kind of good stuff. But one question that I feel like goes super unanswered, or is kind of vague, and nobody really knows, and I'm sure it varies for different people all across the board. But how should you, as a content creator or a somebody in the competitive scene who wants to break out in the competitive scene, how should you approach companies that you want to work with and get paid for either promoting their product or promoting their brand or becoming, like, how should you go about that and still get a check?
Excellent question. So at a certain size, if you are too small, it's kind of impossible to get paid. I will just kind of honestly say it flat out there. If you're sitting at 10 to 15 average concurrence, it's probably not going to happen. And I kind of like thrive off of just being super honest with people.
Of course, that's what we want.
I'm super proud of you for having 15, but you will not get the financial attention from companies. However, in general, a huge rule of thumb, and I'll even tell my own contracted content creators, 9 out of 10 times, a company will love to hear from you over me. If you contact them and say, hey, Gunner Glasses, or hey, Blue Mic, I am so passionate about your product. I already use it, or I would love to try it. I think my community would love it. Here are the reasons why. This is what I've done. This is what I'm passionate about. Even like a one-pager, something that you can just like show them your passion and show you're not just there to collect a paycheck. You will get their attention. There are certain companies, even like Elgato, great example. They love to hear from content creators. Obviously, they get inundated often.
Yeah, but of course. It's Elgato.
My content creators, I direct them right to them and just say, hey, listen, man, like, you tell them all about you and your passions and like what you're looking for in a partnership, and you'll get their attention a little bit better than I could, because unfortunately, sometimes agencies have not the best reputation, rightfully so.
Of course.
Not everyone deserves it, but like a simple Twitter DM of just like, hey, I'd love to get in touch with the right person to talk about a potential partnership. I am a Twitch streamer. I am a YouTube content creator. I play X, Y, and Z games. Love your product, service, or game. I really want to be part of the messaging. Just like honest. Don't be salesy. Don't be gross and cringy and like spam them. But like, these are human beings. These are not robots. So like, you just have to be a human being with another human being.
Right. Which these days, and I've actually, I've had this conversation with a couple of people here recently, is these days being a human being with another human being is such an underrated skill. Like, being able to hold a conversation with another living human, not across from a screen, is so difficult and goes so underappreciated that I feel like, if you have that basic skill set of being able to just talk, Just be able to hold a regular conversation with somebody. It goes so much further than anything. I mean, granted, numbers always make a difference,
Right.
but sometimes the ability to be able to speak with someone carries its weight.
Absolutely. And even if you're not large enough to work with them, then they may send you free product and just be like, hey, dude, keep on going. Like,
Right.
please hit me up when you get bigger, because these are also people, I don't want to say in lower positions, but like ultimately there is an executive who makes the decision on budget, metrics, qualifications. So the people you're reaching out to may only be able to do so much, but if you're a human with them and you level with them and you just talk to them, they will do whatever they can for you.
Yeah.
Like I have seen this so many times that companies will make an exception to work with you or help you or do something because they're like, dude, that guy is so rad. Oh, that guy is so good to his community.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to hit someone up and they're going to be like, oh yeah, here's $5,000, man. You like, go you. That's just, it's just not a reality. And it's not even a reality for me. Like sometimes people think like, as a manager, I like wave a wand and like some magical money
Here
appears.
it is.
Like,
yeah.
It's not like that. Like it's a fight. It's advocating for them. It's showing metrics. It's a lot of like proving their value.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of dialogue that happens.
Right. And it's completely understandable too. There is no magic wand that gets waved, where everybody gets money.
Exactly.
There's been a lot of talk here recently. I've been hearing this word a lot, and it's micro influencer. So I've been hearing that word surface around the industry we're in, and I wanted to get your thoughts and opinions on some of it because it makes sense from somebody that's like me. Now, and when I say somebody like me, I mean I don't have I don't have your side of things. I don't have the metrics. I don't have the analytics. I don't have what you guys look for in particular. And so I wanted to ask you about that because the conversation that's being had is there are micro influencers and then there are influencers. And generally speaking, when you think of an influencer, you think of somebody who has tons of followers across all social media platforms. We're talking thousands and thousands of concurrent viewers or views on YouTube, on anything that they put up, no matter what. And then there's micro influencers, which are people who are on the come up. They're building. They've already built a solid foundation for a community. They just need that one bit of exposure to really shed light on such like a great content creator, and there's tons of them out there. But the question that has to be asked, and the thing that is brought up is the difference between the two, and that is the argument is influencers, while they have tons of viewers, they have a big market because they are quote an influencer and bigger. A lot of their market sometimes won't buy a product, right?
Correct.
Because it's just the way of the world, right? Whereas with a micro influencer, if they were selling that same product, generally speaking, percentage wise, they're kind of even, as because they've built such a tight knit community that whoever that micro influencer is, when they hype up a product or they talk about something, the majority of that micro community will buy whatever product it is. Whereas, on the flip side of things, with the influencer, sometimes they might not. What is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's something we've definitely noticed a lot of. And I think Ninja was a great example that showed us all that just because you're huge and have tens of thousands, if not 100,000 average concurrents, you are not going to get as many sales as you would think in relation to like the scale. So if a micro influencer can sell to 50% of his audience, and a typical influencer is not, it's going to be a significantly lower percentage.
Right.
So for me, I notice micro influencers, their audience is so loyal. So they may have those 25 people, but those 25 people come through and they come through hard in their support.
Yeah, and that's been a part of that's been a lot of what I've been hearing recently is companies making their way from the big name influencer and really trying to, like, you've seen over the past couple of years, I'm sure a lot of people start dishing out these like affiliate programs, which I did want to talk a little bit about because while it might sound great for you as like a content creator or a micro influencer of sort, I wanted to get your opinion on this because I have my own. Is when you get that affiliate program or you get in that affiliate world and you're hyped as the content creator or whatever you are, you're hyped because, oh my god, this company's sending me free stuff, and I've got a code, I get X amount after X amount of sales, all of that stuff. But in reality, it seems like the companies are getting more from that, right? Because of the amount of free advertising. They know that your community will, without question, because they're so loyal to you, will buy whatever, right? Whatever you promote, they'll buy. And with you being so hyped about it, of course you're going to talk about it more. You're going to promote it. You're going to talk. You're going to have like a little thing, a little image coming up on your screen every 30 seconds, that tweeting about it, that kind of stuff. So I wanted to get your opinions on that and on that side of that stance. What do you think about that?
So I've been conflicted on that for a while. I know everyone hates affiliate programs, but what I've come to learn having conversations with companies like Corsair, AMD, Blue Mic, where like everyone's dream is to be sponsored by these companies.
Of course.
It's not a reality for so many people and could potentially never be a reality in the capacity in which they want.
Okay.
I want to be, fully sponsored. I want a PC setup and I want to get paid monthly. This is unfortunately just not a possibility. So I love the ability to have affiliate codes to get people cheaper products and or free products, because sometimes content creators will be getting the product for free.
Yeah, of course.
And then also commission. So if they have a really loyal audience who's buying G Fuel every month, it helps support them. I do see from the standpoint of free marketing, but a lot of companies pay for marketing, whether it's traditional marketing or influencer marketing, off of a CPM model, and that's cost per 1,000 views, cost per mil. So when you take a typical CPM, like a YouTube ad is anywhere from $10 to $40 CPM.
Okay.
You pay $10 per 1,000 views, up to $40 per 1,000. So if you look at a micro influencer, it's a lot of money to add up to even $10.
Okay.
So if it's almost more offensive for a company like G Fuel to be like, hey, we'll pay you $10 every 1,000 people that watch you. Like, you'll never get there. But giving you an affiliate code incentivizes you to push it so that you can make commission on these sales, which is greater than what they could actually really pay you for advertising. And this is on the smaller side. So yeah, it seems like you have 100 people plugging a company. And by the way, I'm friends with Blue Mic, G Fuel, all these guys. So I'm not talking badly about anyone.
Of course you're not. I know.
Just using examples.
These are all those companies friendly. We're friendly here.
Yeah, I just wanted to preface that. But these companies can only do so much. But with an affiliate, they're giving you the opportunity to be connected to a community, so to speak. Like, hey, I love this G Fuel product. I represent it, whether I get paid or not. And I want my audience to know how much I love it. I want to give you a discount code. That's really what it is too, is a connection to give back to your community. Because if you don't offer it, somebody else will. Right. And unfortunately, they may start watching that other person that's offering it more than you. Like it's kind of almost like a not FOMO is the right word, but like you kind of have to go with the flow a little bit too.
Right. Now when it comes to stuff like that, when you talk about affiliate codes, one thing that also seems to always come up is, at what point are you going to break out of that affiliate code and move into full-fledged sponsorship? And obviously, the obvious answer is grow your channel, grow whatever you're doing as best as you can and as quick as you can, as weird as that sounds. But as a micro influencer and somebody that's in that affiliate program, do you think that companies look at, all right, well, this guy sold X amount, like so many people continue to come back, such a big portion of his or her audience continues to come back every month, no matter what, buy whatever product that they're pushing. Do you think companies look at that and go, okay, maybe we need to work things out?
So, because we're all trying to figure things out, a lot of companies aren't big corporations that are very structured with these amazing systems and processes. Unfortunately, no. It takes a lot of diligence on behalf of a manager or on a creator to bring that up. And it's not because these companies suck. They're just, we only have so much bandwidth. And like a lot of people in my position or in positions like my friends over at G Fuel, they're required to be responsible for a certain amount of creators.
Right.
And it's a lot. And it's hard to be on top of every single person. So it's kind of on you as the creator to advocate for yourself. Don't be annoying again. Like, you don't want to annoy people, but like, hey man, I noticed on my dashboard, I've sold X amount of product each and every month. I wanted to see if we could explore some other options. At that point, they're probably going to like you and just be honest with you. And maybe they'll start you at $100 a month plus commission. You got to keep proving yourself. Unless you went from 50 average concurrents and jumped up to like 700 somehow, you're not going to have this crazy jump that just doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it doesn't correlate.
So it's definitely something you have to advocate for yourself. Like, I'm a huge believer in like, no one's going to just give you anything. Like, you have to ask for what you want. If you don't ask for it, chances are that you will not get it. That's how I do everything. I just ask for things. Like,
of course. Yeah.
You just ask for it.
That's one thing that of course, among many things that I wanted to talk about with you, is that I feel like a lot of people are so afraid to get told no. Like, everyone, why? All they're gonna say is no. Like, why
or not right
shoot?
now even. Like,
or maybe in a future time,
no one's gonna curse you out. No one's gonna be like, I'm calling your mom to like, what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? Like, for me, in my salesperson mind, no just means not right now. It's a later yes. It's just not right now. Like, unless you're a really terrible person and this company's like, we will never work with you, it's literally not a no. It could, like, I hate to keep bringing it up. Do you know how many times I have tried to talk to Corsair and they're just like, no? Oh my God, so many times. And it's not a personal attack at me. It's nothing personal. It's literally what I have to offer at this moment isn't what they're looking for. And it's like, okay, man, no worries. Appreciate the insight. I'll come back again. And I'll come back again. And it's just about the persistence. Without being rude, unprofessional, or annoying. Again, like, you need to set a cadence that, if a company says no right now, do not ping them in a week. Maybe hit them up in a couple months. If your numbers haven't changed, also don't hit them up. Like, I would, like, there needs to be some sort of like thought behind it, because then they're just going to be like, oh, this person again. Okay. And then they'll have a negative thought when they see your name, and you don't want that.
Right. Never. That is such a big thing, is knowing that line, right? Understanding how to be able to talk to a company or just a person in general, knowing that what you're doing is right, and you're not just like every other week, hey man.
Exactly. Another thing I do too is, if I feel like I could be overstepping, I'm just like, listen, let me know if what I'm asking for is too much, but this is what I was thinking. And like, that gives them an open opportunity to be like, you're right, that is too much, but I can do this. Like, or they'll be like, nah, dude, I got you. Like, we can do that. Like, so for example, for my talk show, we're sponsored by Blue Mike.
Blue Mike sponsorship, not in this one, but in theirs. Check it out. Blue Mike, be sure to hit me up. I'll send out emails. I actually just
connect you with them if you want.
I actually just ordered that mic arm.
Dude, no way. It's the best thing ever.
I ended up I use this Rode one right now, but I've noticed over time it's not really as convenient as I thought it was. It served its purpose for a long time now, but I originally went to like, it's called like Yellow Tech. And I originally went to them, and that's not in my budget right now, but I've heard really good things about that blue mic arm.
I'll connect you with them for sure. But like, so the guy over there at Blue, I don't want to put his name out there so that everyone blows him up, but like, he's amazing. I've worked with him previously, and him and I are on that same level of like super honest. And I'm like, listen, man, this is my talk show. Before we even had one episode, I said, this is what Torben and I are going to be doing.
Shout out to Torben.
Shout out to Torben. We need audio equipment. I was fully stocked up with AirPod Pros, and Torben wanted a podcast talk show. And I was like, well, I have nothing.
Yeah.
So I said, do you have discount codes? I don't have a few grand to like spend on this stuff.
Yeah, because
right
Blue is a very quality and
yeah, this is an XLR mic.
Yeah, with that quality comes price, without a doubt.
Yeah, they're worth it. And I was like, dude, is there anything you can do? Here's the pitch. I came at him very professionally with a full written out plan, what we're doing, what we're about, who we are, why it matters to Blue Mike. And this is an amazing example as to how anyone should approach any company, whether you're friends with them or not. And he was like, dude, absolutely. We want to support the show. We support education. We support giving back to the community. We will give you all the equipment you need.
Nice.
And they sent us $2,000 in equipment. Like, that is how you do it. We don't get any money, but they're our biggest sponsor. And we appreciate that so much that they were like, you've done no projects in this yet, but we want to support and help facilitate this, because that's also our mission, is to give back to the community.
Yeah.
Like, that was incredible. And I was like shocked. I was like, wait, really?
Yeah. And see,
to me, I was like, if I'm asking for too much, tell me.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah. And that's the thing. There it goes back to it again. You know, you go with a formulated plan. What are they going to say? No? Shoot it out.
Yeah.
Why not? You never know. And just like you said, like, wait, really? Like,
yeah.
Awesome. Let's do it. Like, that is such an incredible mindset to have. Is what are they going to say? Or all they could say is no, you know?
Yeah.
All they can say is no.
A big thing too, I tell people, like, you can't get in someone's DMs to just post on Twitter, call them out, have people tag them, get their attention in a fun and professional way.
Yeah.
Like, don't be gross, don't be weird. But like, I have a smaller content creator. He's bigger now, but before he was smaller, he has tagged G Fuel for a year before we got their attention. A whole year. Every few months, he'd be like, hey guys, and he would screenshot his new analytics. Hey guys, it's me again, screenshot of analytics, just showing in a professional way. This is my growth.
Yeah.
I have growth and I have numbers and I have all of this to give you. Pay attention to me. And finally he got their attention, and I was very impressed by that.
That's awesome. That is, and you know, especially coming from someone who I always have a mindset of I don't really like to tag people in anything unless especially companies, unless it's something that you know, I've super well thought out or I'm working with them. So for me, that hits home a little bit more, because I think I think everybody should start doing that again in a professional way. Another thing, and this is coming from personal experience because I have done this. And I wanted to get your opinions on it. When it comes to chatting with companies and talking with them and trying to pitch yourself and who you are to them, I've always thought that I've got a very strong personality in a sense of that. And again, I come from a sales background. It's everything I've ever done. I can talk with people. I can talk with you about anything. We can shoot the shit all day long. But I also feel like I can sell myself in a positive way to people. And that mindset early on translated into, okay, I'm better than just an email. Why would I email them? I'm going to get them on the phone. Because again, I can talk to anyone about anything. Like I said, I can sell myself on anything. When it comes to calling companies and trying to get in the right department to talk with the right people, is that a good avenue to go down at today? No.
I don't want phone calls.
Really?
Don't call me. Yeah. Don't call me if I don't know you. And I know that sounds so harsh, but I'm not prepared for it. I haven't had the time to look into you, especially people in my position. I love random people reaching out to me, but for a phone call where you want me to take you seriously and already have a little knowledge on you, getting in a place to set that up is 10 times better. So I use LinkedIn a lot. I will answer any LinkedIn message. I will answer any DM on Twitter, any DM on Instagram for stuff like that. So I love when people go, like if someone found my phone number somehow and called me, I would be super turned off personally.
Really?
Because a lot
Okay.
of people aren't in offices. This is like, I was in software sales where you cold call offices and you try and get a hold of people.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
this isn't so much of a thing that it would be better to like drop it. Like, for example, hate to call it out, Miguel with Elgato streams. You want to get his attention? Hop in his stream, man.
Right.
Compliment him. Throw him a sub. Like, I don't know, like interact with him, and that's how you could get his attention. Or, you know, like show up on some podcasts and or panels or whatever.
Right.
And when you reach out to them, say, hey man, I saw you in X, Y, and Z. I love what you're about. I'd love to get on a call. I really want to talk more. Like if I heard something like that, I would be like, hell yeah, man. Thanks for doing your research. Thanks for looking into me.
Right.
Even if you didn't see those panels or that talk show,
Yeah.
you at least know that I was on that and looked into it enough.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, again, from personal experience, it definitely makes sense as to why I'm not working with a lot of those companies after I cold called them. And that's always been my thing. I got no fear. Like I'll call you and literally be like, you know, every conversation was like, hey, I'm looking for, you know, like your sponsorship or partnership program department. Who do I need to talk to? And it was always, why don't you just email us instead of calling? And so, yeah, that's always been the back of my head. And obviously I haven't done that in a very long time, but you know, I would spend hours and hours shooting emails, phone calls, all that stuff. And again, a lot of it was all turned down, which is fine. But it was just the sense of, all right, I'm shooting my shot type deal.
Yeah. I would definitely try and do Twitter DMs. So again, if that's closed, I shoot for LinkedIn. Find the guy that's in charge of influencer marketing, the community manager, whatever that is. Find him on LinkedIn and do that. I know LinkedIn's kind of like super professional and not a lot of people use it, but
and that's what immediately came to my mind when you were talking about LinkedIn. I'm like, isn't that like the corporate world? The like adults of adults use LinkedIn. Like should content creators all have a LinkedIn?
I personally think so, because you want to be taken seriously and you want money, you need to be serious.
Right.
If you want to be a content creator and not be on that professional level, then you don't need to. But you're asking to basically get somewhat of a salary. You want stable income. You should come off as professional. And at least you're reaching out to the head of that department and you're just like, hey, I want to know who the right person is to speak to. I cold DM on LinkedIn CEOs all the time.
Really?
Like, CEO of Razer, president of Razer. I DM'd him on LinkedIn to see if he would be at PAX East. Like to me, because it lets them see my credentials of my education, my position at the company. It's a little different for content creators, but it still gets their attention regardless.
Yeah. That's what immediately came to my mind too, was, you know, there's a big difference between what you guys do and what a content creator would do. What is your opinion, first and foremost, on having a already, like, I'm not going to say like copy and paste type deal, but like a already pre-structured email that kind of goes out to everybody? Should every email be super personalized with the same type of information, or does a good old-fashioned copy paste get the job done?
I think like a mix. I think you need a mix.
Okay.
So depending on who you're reaching out to, look into what they've done. Do they have their own podcast? Do they stream? What do they do outside of their job? That should be a customizable piece right there.
Okay.
Obviously, the company name, another customizable piece. What products they have and why you're passionate about it should be another customized piece. Everything else can be the same one page, but why are those products different? You're not going to write G Fuel the same you're going to write Blue Mic. It's different products. One's consumable, one is not. Like, why are you a good fit? The reasons should be different. So I think you could have the same structure, but just like make it meaningful to that person. Why should they get back to you? Why should they read this email? Why should they take you seriously?
Okay. Whenever it comes to actually structuring these, so say you're reaching out to a company that that you want to work with, that you want to possibly get a sponsorship with, anything like that. When it comes to actually structuring this email or DM, whatever it is, when it comes to talking about yourself, what are some without question points that need to be hit?
A lot of people want to see why you do what you do. No company now, like before it was like a cash grab, free for all. No one cared if you did it for the money. I talk to so many companies now that are like, dude, if you're just doing this for the paycheck, don't even bother. Why you're passionate about what you do. People love to see that. Another thing is community. Don't go on for paragraphs,
right?
But like brag about your community.
Yeah.
Like brag about them a little bit. Like, what do they do to support you? Like, what do you do to support them? How could you being sponsored by this company or this product or this whatever help your community? Companies don't want to see selfish people about me.
Right.
How are you going to help the company? How are you going to help your community? And how that's going to help you? Like all of those probably in that order.
Right. Hey, for everybody out there listening, there it is, right there. Hey, and that's I'm even gonna take all of this like we talked about before the podcast. This is all stuff that even I don't know. So all of this translates into what I can do too. So that's why I'm not trying to grill you and be like, what do I do? These are all just things that I feel like go unanswered or vaguely answered across the board.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's vague because there's no right or wrong answer.
True.
Like someone could have a completely different experience than me. I can only tell you what I've experienced and what has worked for me and what would work if I got these emails or if I got these messages. Right. Not everyone is like me. Yeah. But I think another thing too is showing that you have like a plan and showing that you're like a mature adult. And you're like, listen, I plan to grow in these ways. This is my plan. I currently cover this game or these games. This is how, like, showing them like you've thought about it and you've thought about your growth and how it could work with the growth of the company. Like things like that. I know this sounds like high advanced type of thinking, but like you essentially are a business. You need to think like that. Not everyone gets to go get their MBA. So that's why a lot of people, rely on managers and like reach out to me for advice anyway, but like think in a business sense and like imagine you're a brand. How are you selling your brand? Even though you don't technically have a product, you are like a service, more or less, your entertainment.
Yeah.
What are you offering? Why does that matter? Like, why do you matter to that company? I think is the biggest like overall message.
Right. Damn, you're blowing my mind right now with like the most basic shit that I think everybody should know. But that's the thing, is not a lot of people know that. Not a lot of people know the things that you're saying right now. So it's super insightful. I'm soaking it all in as best I can. Where do you see AMG in the next couple of years? What's the future?
That's an excellent question. We're working on it. We actually just had a leadership meeting yesterday, and I was like, so guys, we need to figure out
what's
direction.
Next? Yeah.
So we've been working on a lot of digital production. We work with Tencent heavily on tournaments and events often. Okay. So we now have kind of like a online production segment of the business. So we have all these really big, awesome, amazing pieces, and we're working on figuring out how best to utilize it. We've grown so fast, and I think we're just unsure, but it's all really good things. We have a really great leadership team, and like we're doing some really cool stuff.
That's awesome. That's super exciting. I know you said earlier you've got a big mobile base, right? So what does that, like, mobile gamers, like mobile streamers?
Yep. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
And I know that you said that whenever you guys first got started, and it just came back to my mind, was that, that was really your basis of your clientele. What made you go into the mobile scene? Like,
so my two partners are two of the largest mobile content creators.
What?
Yeah.
Playing what?
Powerbang, he is with PUBG Mobile. Started in Clash of Clans. And
what? This is blowing my mind right now.
Yeah.
It's so weird because mobile gaming has such a stigma that comes along with it. It's shocking to me right now.
I know.
So it was just easier for you guys to go down that path right off the rip?
Yeah, super easy. Our other partner, Ash from Clash with Ash, he's a Clash Royale YouTuber. So they've both been very, very successful in their own rights and their respective games.
Holy hell.
And they've worked together for quite some time before I came along, and they're amazing to work with.
Did you think that starting off, you were only going to be a mobile content creator?
Yes.
Really? Yes. Are you serious? And you stuck with it? Oh my God. That's insane.
stuck with it, making very little money too, mind you. Like I saw the dream and I was like, dude, we'll figure it out later. Like,
Dude, and you're in LA too.
yeah, I was like,
what?
We'll figure it out. I'm in LA. I just gotten divorced. Like I was like, bring on the expenses. I don't care.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That might work for somebody who lives in like rural Missouri. Yeah, like what?
Yeah.
Holy hell. That's so
it was
scary.
For a bit. Yeah. I mean, luckily I have the support of my parents who would never let me go homeless, but
Right. Hey, that's good parenting right there.
Like, you know, it's just when you get set up on a track with an MBA and all of that, like you're on track to make several $100,000 a year, kind of out the gate with what I was doing. And to take a step back and be like, I don't really care about that. I'd rather be happy and do something I love to do was like, it was a no-brainer, but still really scary at the same time.
Of course, with anything like that, especially stepping away, because I know the feeling of whenever I quit my job to pursue this full time. I know that feeling. I know that feeling of not having any money, and knowing that there's probably not any money coming in for a hot minute. So I definitely know, and that is one of the most terrifying feelings on the face of this earth, without question.
Yeah. It was a lot of like being kind of curious how I paid my bills without a negative. Like, no, really, it's so weird. You're just like, oh, okay, no negative balance. Cool,
nice.
man.
Nailed it. Nailed it. Yeah.
Electric bill wasn't high. Nailed it. I would run around. Oh my God. I would run around my apartment, turn off all the fucking lights. Like, dude, we can't afford this.
I gotta save money.
I would literally sweat my roommate out of our apartment. Like, I'm like, dude, it's 78. Sweat them titties, okay?
Dude,
like, I don't care, man.
You would die in a day with living with me. You would die. I do
really?
not. No, we keep this house at 65, and I don't care.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's hot as shit here. You're in LA. You guys got the beautiful weather year round.
Yeah, it's also like, I also feel like it's so much more expensive that like it makes it harder. If my rent wasn't $3,500 a month, I wouldn't give a crap. Yeah, dude. I wouldn't care if my electric bill was $500. I'd sleep in an igloo. I don't care. But like, I can't afford that extra.
That is insane. That's crazy. My sister lives out in San Diego, and she pays like $3,300 for a 1-bedroom, and I am blown away.
I'm in a 1-bedroom.
What are we talking about? That is craziness. That is crazy.
It's just a nice apartment for my dogs. That's why
you do it. I saw both your puppers, or is it just 2 or 3?
I have 2.
Yeah, I saw them both playing around there for a little bit behind you.
I know, they're so funny.
Well, listen, Amanda, I really appreciate you coming on the show today. Like I said, I didn't want to take too much of your time. A lot of the things that you talked about gave such good insight, like stuff that I feel like people should know, but like I said, might not. And especially for me, this was an important one for me, just so I could soak up and pick your brain a little bit and kind of hear what you have going on and the best ways to approach things. So again, I appreciate you a lot coming on. It does mean a lot to me.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having me on. As I mentioned, our dear Torby was a little jealous.
I know he was.
Me.
I know he was.
I'm so glad. Obviously, please utilize me as a resource, or like anyone watching this, my DMs are always open. Contrary to popular belief as being a female in gaming, I shouldn't have them open, but they are. No one's been weird with me. So it's all
yet.
Yeah, but I'm always happy to help anyone. And if I don't think I can help you, I'll also let you know. But I just like to be a resource for anyone that has questions, unless you ask a question that takes an hour to explain.
Right.
Then I'll just make you get me on your podcast.
Right. Perfect. Which is why you're here now. Speaking of being able to use you as a resource, where can the people find you at?
They can find me on the Twitter. On the Twitter at Leilani. I assume you could spell that somewhere.
Yes. Yeah, don't worry. Everything will be down in the descriptions.
Beautiful. It's all in the description then. I don't even need to say it, man.
Perfect. Well, listen, Amanda, again, it really does mean a lot, and you and I will talk very soon. Thanks for coming on.
Of course. Thank you so much, man.
All right. Later, everybody.